What is up guys, I'm back with another video, and if you haven't seen my previous video, I'll leave it linked in the description below, or I'll leave an annotation somewhere on the screen. But the name of that video was 5 reasons why the Nexus 5 was better than the OnePlus One. And it turns out that a lot of people thought I was biased towards the Nexus 5, so it got a lot of thumbs downs and negative comments. However, that wasn't the case. It was just a fun video, and this video is exactly the same. However, this time, it's 7 reasons why the OnePlus One is better than the Nexus 5. So without any further ado, first up is build quality. So the Nexus 5 is built with all plastic and just Gorilla Glass on the front. So there's the soft touch plastic on the back, which I covered up with a carbon fiber skin. But the OnePlus One just feels a lot more stronger and sturdier in the hand due to the metal trim and the sandstone back. This gives it a much more, for lack of a better word, premium feel. And if you were to compare the two devices, you'd definitely think the OnePlus One was more expensive than the Nexus 5. Due to the curved back of the OnePlus One and the sandstone texture, it feels a bit more comfortable to hold in the hand, and the sandstone texture definitely feels a lot better than the soft touch plastic on the Nexus 5. Secondly is the fact that the OnePlus One comes out of the box running CyanogenMod. So it's running CyanogenMod 11S, a custom version of Cyanogen built specifically for the OnePlus One. So if you don't know what CyanogenMod is, it's one of the most widely used custom ROMs out there that offers a lot of customization such as interface changes, theme changes, status bar icon changes, and this is all out of the box on the OnePlus One, absolutely no root needed to do any of these modifications. Along with these software additions is the screen gestures, so it allows you to wake the screen, turn on the camera or turn on the flashlight, all while the screen is off by just drawing some gestures on the screen, and none of these are available on the Nexus 5, at least out of the box. Thirdly is the ability to choose whichever type of buttons you prefer, so whether you prefer them on the screen as software buttons or off the screen as hardware buttons, you can just simply switch between them right there in the settings menu without needing to reboot the phone at all. And this is something that stood out to me ever since the OnePlus One was launched, since it's the first phone I've seen to ever introduce something like this. In fact, it's something that the OnePlus One has over all the other Android flagship smartphones out there to my knowledge. If you were to try to do this on a Nexus 5 though, that's just too bad because it's not possible. Next up is the speaker. So there's two areas where the Nexus 5 speaker falls behind the OnePlus One speaker, or should I say speakers, and that's the first area. While the bottom of both of these devices might look a bit similar, the OnePlus One actually has two speakers, so it's a dual mono setup, whereas the Nexus 5 just has one single speaker. The next area where the Nexus 5 speaker falls behind the OnePlus One speakers is the quality. So the OnePlus One speakers are very loud and clear, whereas the Nexus 5 is very soft, and the quality is far behind that of the OnePlus One. Next up, another reason why the OnePlus One is better than the Nexus 5 is the camera. So you might be thinking, the camera was one of the points in the previous video, that the Nexus 5 included optical image stabilization. So of course that's a plus, but in favor of the OnePlus One, it has a 13 megapixel sensor, whereas the Nexus 5 has an 8 megapixel sensor. It allows for 4K video recording, and it's also paired with that dual LED flash. All of these just makes it a better all-around camera than the Nexus 5. Next up we have the screen size. So of course you might be thinking again that in the previous video, screen size was one of the negative things about the OnePlus One. But in favor of the OnePlus One again, the larger screen size allows for more real estate, especially if you use the expose module and maybe change the DPI, you can make a lot more use of that larger screen real estate than the Nexus 5. It also allows for bigger text and better readability, and there's no doubt that a lot of people out there prefer larger screens over the smaller screens. And lastly, number 7, we have the price and storage options. So for $350, you'd get a Nexus 5 with 16GB of storage. Whereas for that same $350, you'd also get a OnePlus One with 64GB of storage. And of course, the more storage there is, the better. What makes this even more drastic though, is the huge jump. So it's not like a jump from 16GB to 32GB, but it's a jump from 16GB straight up to 64GB. So if you're considering a OnePlus One or a Nexus 5, and the rest of reasons didn't really bother you, at least consider the storage options. So that's about it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to give it a huge thumbs up below and let me know what you think in the comment section below also. If you're a OnePlus One user, be sure to share the video around. In fact, even if you're not a OnePlus One user, still feel free to share the video around. And again, that's been it guys. Thanks a lot for watching again, and I'll see you in the next one.